Hi, my name is Indira Scharwecker, Art Director for Toning Guy London Academy and LABEL.M Professional. We are here in the middle of shooting our latest collection, Socialized. The look I'm creating today is called the Bailey. The Bailey is a short to medium bob shape, highly inspired by the 60s, so you can really see the high crowns, utilizing strong baselines through the perimeter, but working with graduation internally, with protection layering through the top area, bringing back the elegance, the glamour of a strong, powerful woman. The reason why the name of this haircut is called the Bailey is because of Davy Bailey. That was an amazing photographer at the time, and is still. He managed to capture from top models to amazing musician, and he really lived that in photographs. So let's have a look at the step-by-step of the Bailey. So first of all, we started to work with the center profile. After that, we worked with the diagonal forward section from high occipital to the top of the ear. From there, we applied a horizontal section above the occipital bone, creating a triangle section on top of the ears. We looked for the widest point of the head and created a horizontal section into recession area. The front area we subdivided with the irregular zigzag sections. So below the occipital bone area, we now subdividing this section into 3 different triangles. So we're starting off in the middle triangle in the nape area. We're subdividing it into a horizontal section close to the hairline, and we're creating our first guide and working it at natural fall and cut square. We're then elevating it up at 45 degrees and creating our first graduation. Once we are happy with the angle, we keep working horizontally, keep combing it twice from underneath, once from the top to get an even distribution of natural fall by elevation at 45 degrees. We keep repeating this technique all the way into our last little corner of our triangle. Now the reason why we're working horizontally is that it allows us to keep much more steeper graduation and deciding how strong our angle wants to be. Once we're happy with that, utilizing the corner of our first guide and working into a graduation through the ear area. So what happens is that we're going to start to round off our graduation, making it much more narrow and opening up behind the ear area. We're repeating exactly the same on the opposite side. Keep elevating our section at 45 degrees. This can be varied depending of suitability, depending of length of the side area. But really what it helps is to narrow the back area of the ear, and it allows us, especially when you have a lot of hair, to kind of make it much more flatter through the side area. Once we finish, we're going to cross-check and check if our graduation sits nicely. We're now moving into the crown area. We're using the length of our middle center of our graduation below. We're working with parallel section of our section, so slightly diagonal into a horizontal, taking our guideline out, utilizing the length from below, elevating this now at 90 degrees and working parallel to the head. Now, how you can see here, once I finish the cut, you can see how the side area are actually disconnected and they're starting to sit over our graduation below. And you can see how it still maintains the strength of the perimeter area, but thanks to my disconnection, it keeps it flatter and narrow. The center part is connected, so it gives me an even nicer rounder feeling and more 60s feeling through the center part. So again, I'm going to continue my technique, working my section, subdividing it, and working again at 90 degrees parallel to the head. Now you can see I finished my technique through the center part of the head, and you can really see how this volume starts to create this amazing texture, but it keeps it narrower because it's heavier through the side area. Now we're coming to the side area, and what we're doing, we're working this very visually. It's all about suitability, and again, the more you disconnect it, the more stronger it will be. So we're working at natural fall, combing the hair with the comb, and then placing our finger and placing our scissors above our fingers and just visually cut straight. Again, if you want to, you could work that a little bit more rounder, or you could work from short to long. Again, that is all about the individual and the shape you want to achieve. So we have now 2 panels left. So through the center part in the front area, we're now working with a slice cutting technique, but we're still utilizing the length from our previous section behind the crown area, elevating the hair up at 90 degrees, twist the hair until you can see your guide, and then with your scissors, you starting where the length is from our previous section, and you start to work up with your scissors until the hair starts to slightly unravel, and then you cut until the length is coming off. So like you can see here, once I have my twist, I'm utilizing my scissors and I'm gently closing them and going slightly up. I keep doing this until finally the length is off, and what it will do, it will give you a very irregular texture through the end areas. I'm going to repeat this all the way vertically until I have no hair left in my section. We're coming to our last section here. We're working through the fringe area, which is again the focal point of this haircut. We wanted to create quite a modern, quite a young and fresh fringe areas. But what we want to do is quite an irregular, quite a messy fringe area. So a little bit like she has chopped it herself. Using quite a big section, we're bringing it down at natural fall, and we're working again with the twist cutting technique. But what you can see, what I'm doing different here is I'm going quite aggressive in one go, and I close the scissors in once. So you actually still get a irregular feeling, but it's much more aggressive. So now the haircut is completed. We're applying a little bit of volume foam into the hair from roots to end, and we're going to start to blast dry that off and a little bit scrunching already to give us that natural volume. We're using a LABEL.M round brush because I want maximum lift through the root area, and I want to create that more 60s feel through the crown. Now it comes to the personalized. Now, like you can see, the front area and the back area are quite disconnected. So we really want to make the back line a little bit more stronger, a little bit more aggressive. So we're working with point cutting and working on the skin and really personalizing depending on the vision you have. You can see that I'm taking the back area very close to the hairline, but I'm leaving the two detail of the disconnection from the top area a little bit longer, so they give you that more 60s feel behind the ear area. Starting to work with deep point cutting technique. So you can really see how I'm combing the hair very far away from my finger, and then I'm utilizing my scissors and work parallel to the hair and open and close my scissors very deep into the hair. Coming to the front instead, where you have that block one length technique, we're actually working with a little bit of slide cutting and a little bit of channeling cutting. First of all, to give a little bit of separation, but also to make it flatter to the head. We're now coming to our fringe area, where we want to open the side areas, so you can see how I'm really cutting out around the temples, so her cheekbone area starting to come out a little bit more, but in the same time the whole shape starting to elongate. Again, I'm personalizing depending of suitability or depending of the thickness of hair or the end result I want to achieve. Now we're coming to our finishing. Through the back area on the crown area, we're helping us with the resurrection dust from LABEL.M. We're sprinkling it onto the root area and also some of the ends and starting to massage that in, and you can see how quickly it gives me that volume. I'm now using a little bit of power paste, massaging that into my hand and starting to bring it into the side area and flatten it really nicely to the head, but also starting to flatten it and bring some of the hair into the back of the ear. We then use a little bit more of the product and apply that into the front of the fringe area to really give that separation. Use the comb to give you perfect details. So this is the finished look of the Bailey, and you can really see how the combination of the haircut, the color and the finished product gives a really edgy, modern, brings back a memory of the 60s, but with a modern edge. Toning Guy is always about suitability. All our techniques are very easily changeable. So yes, you can take them back to your salon. You can make them adaptable to your clients. And they are actually salon friendly. In this modern day, socialize is so important. Fashion bloggers to our clients, everyone knows about what is going on. At the 60s, you had to wait so many months to get an image out or a trend out, or it had to be really about street fashion. When now it's so easy, socialize is worldwide and it's getting such a big thing. And I think it's important for us as a company, obviously we're doing it. It also has a strong meaning of 2015 and 16. This is my look, the Bailey, for the Socialize campaign 2015 and 16.